There are thoughts I'm having about outgrowing my old self. There's many things I don't hear a lot of people talking about. I have 5 specific thoughts what it feels like to grow out of your old self. Some are very psychological, some are pretty self-explanatory, but it does take a toll on you when it actually happens and you look back and you see how much you've changed. Firstly, why does no one speak about how lonely it is? I'm realizing how my environment is so bland, but not in a sad way. I mean, it is lonely. Like, I look back at my old self, like more surrounded, more friends, just way more attention and people going out more. As you grow out of your old self, maturing, you naturally grow out of these inner circles because they do not connect with you and your mind and your evolving self. It gets lonely when you realize where you are now. It was not how it was, and it's sad that evolving for the better means losing people, but it makes sense. It makes sense energetically that people just don't match your values, your boundaries. Realize how much hurt and pain you actually went through that you minimized because you didn't affirm your values. And it gets lonely now because not only do you have this new version of your old self that you see in your eyes without the rose-colored glasses, realizing you went through a lot that you didn't realize as much, that the people that were around you weren't as supportive, they weren't real in a loving way, because who you are now is your true self coming out of the shell. It gets lonely because it is hard to find people who actually you find are there for you. That's why a lot of people end up with 1 or 2 friends that are real. My second thought is, am I being dramatic or am I actually changing? Because, you know, it's not an overnight thing, but sometimes I catch myself falling into old patterns. Anger issues, for example. I'm more mature in different ways, but I still react quite easily and not in ways that I would like myself to react, but sometimes it's stronger than me. And I'm like, am I actually changing? Like, am I making this up? Like, have I grown at all? I don't know. I know I have, but at the same time, there's parts of me I feel like are stagnant or made no progress. Sometimes I feel like I'm just being dramatic and I feel like I'm on this huge journey, but some parts of me feel like still like it's my old self. Third thought, my old self wasn't all bad. And I'm not villainizing my old self. There are still parts of me that I admire. I was always an understanding person. I always listened and I never judged. And I'm still like this today. I think even if you outgrow your old self, you're not like shedding every single part of you. There's still parts of you that were there for you to grow. You couldn't have grown if there was no part of you that you should have admired. Your ambition to change, that's something that's always been in you. And that's why a lot of people try to villainize their old self. And, yeah, I've accepted horrible behaviors sometimes, but it was just a learning process. This third thought brings me to my fourth thought. Sometimes I feel like I'm betraying my old self, and I feel a guilt for it. Like, all this abandonment, isolation feels sometimes more to my detriment than to my peace. Although I think it's very peaceful, sometimes I think too much of it is bad. And there was part of me that, I need to go out sometimes and have fun. And then I see myself now just always isolated. And I feel like I'm abandoning my old self, like those needs that, still brought joy to my life. Yeah, sometimes there's that guilt of betraying your old self, especially through this isolation. After healing and growing and maturing, the healing part takes a lot of inner work, but balance is everything, and I've always said that. Just letting loose and having fun sometimes doesn't hurt. Lastly, I think the best part of outgrowing your old self is being able to see what you used to tolerate and what you don't now. So I think that's the biggest part of this learning process and healing and maturing. It is you see all of the toxicity, the bad habits, personal habits, doesn't have to be with anyone else, just personal growth, all of those things that you used to do that now you're like, why the hell was I doing that? Why was I so mean to myself? Accepting that, like, for my body, like, I have such a higher sensitivity towards my body, like treating it right, eating well. Like, I used to be so dehydrated, I would, faint. I mean, like, there's a lot of issues, but seeing how I let that happen hurts. I don't know why that made me sad. But there's also pattern recognition. That's why, like, now I like the ability to be able to see when there's something that I used to tolerate, and now I'm like, no, I've seen this before and I'm not getting this treatment again. Like, no thank you. But I ask myself, like, does anyone relate? Does anyone actually feel the same way or have the same thoughts? It gets lonely. It gets complicated in your mind because you feel like you want to do the best thing, but you're not sure if you are. That was just sharing, this growth, this healing journey that a lot of people are on. Just want to highlight main thoughts and struggles that I went through, that I think a lot of people probably do as well. Hope you enjoyed this little sharing of thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.